Good morning, guys. So this is our week 4. So our lesson for today is about how to write an autobiography and what are the parts of a biography. So this is our objective to analyze and interpret the elements, themes, and techniques used in works of fiction, and you're going to write your own uh, biography after this. Now, what is an autobiography? So an autobiography comes from the uh, etymology of auto, which means one, bio means life, and graphy means to write. So technically, an autobiography is a non-fictional written account or narrative of a person's life. The author is the narrator and is the subject of the narrative. It gives emphasis on the author's developing self. Therefore, it is written in chronological order, and unlike a diary or a journal, an autobiography is written to be published in book form. And we can say that an autobiographical essay is also called a personal narrative essay. It is an essay with autobiographical elements. Now, here are some of the elements or characteristic of an autobiography. Again, it is written account or narrative. It is written in the first person POV. It is non-fictional account of a person's life. The author is the narrator. The author is the subject of the narrative. The emphasis again is the author's developing self. Of course, it must be written in chronological order. The author is a personality, a historical or public figure, or a writer itself. And it is written again to be published in a book form. Now, here are the tips how to write an autobiography. When writing an autobiography, you focus on three major things. First, who you are in your life. B, what life means to you. And C, or the third one, what your outlook on the future is. So the first thing that you do when you're going to write an autobiography is to start off with a lot of facts about your life. And what are the facts about your life? For example, when and where you were born. Where do you live? You have to say the city and the state. Where you go to school and who you live with. You have to give a lot of information about yourself so your reader can clearly understand what is going on. Once you have written the beautiful introduction, you are ready to start your first paragraph of the autobiography. So, who you are in life. The best way to start an autobiography is, of course, you have to state your full name. And when you are writing this paragraph, you usually explain the type of person you are. Use the facts about yourself, such as, yan, you have to give if you have won at any awards, then you have to describe what types of awards have you won, where did you get that award. Then you have to tell, did you finish the school, or do you plan on going to college? Number two, what life means to you. So in the second paragraph, you're going to state how you see your life. What does life means to you? Are you happy or sad in your life now? Do you have a lot of friends? Or just a few but real friends? How do you make your school days go by? We are now facing a pandemic, so how are you going to explain and describe the situation uh, as you go by that your school is your home? And you can tell them, do you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend? What are your favorite places to go on dates? How long have you been dating? Or if you are involved in a relationship, do you think it will last forever? Number three, what is your outlook on the future? In this paragraph, you should explain what you think in the future will be like. Yan. So ano na nga ba mga anak yung nakikita mo sa future mo? You have to pick a year and explain how it will be, but explain it through your eyes. For example, 5 years from now, I can see myself as a successful individual. I have my own business. I am the boss. Or you can tell yourself, how will you be living? Will you be married? Will there be any kids? Whom you will be married to? What is he or she like? Or how long will you have been together? So that can be about your outlook on the future. So here is an example of an autobiography. Example, my name is Michael Smith and I was born on the 30th of August 1967 in Long Beach, California. My parents were Eddie Smith and Joanne Smith. Both of my parents are deceased. My mom died at the age of 57 in 1994 from lung cancer, which was the result of smoking of her whole lifetime. My father died at the age of 69 in 2006 from a massive heart attack, which was also the likely result from a lifetime of smoking. Fortunately, I have been smart enough to avoid that bad habit. My early childhood was a typical middle-class environment circa the 1960s. My dad worked from Simpson Boeck as a part salesman and my mom was a stay-at-home mother. I had a happy, normal childhood as an only child, leaving me somewhat spoiled. My mom and dad divorced when I was 8 years old and both remarried within a year or so of the divorce. My dad remained married to my stepmom, Bev, until his death. My mom would marry two more times. My first stepdad, Vince, became a big part of my life, and I maintained close contact with him until his death in 2006, 2 days after my real dad died. Yes, it was a very bad week, losing both of my dads. Growing up with split parents was not especially difficult since each of my parents kept me out of their divorce and they got along fine at events where both of them were present. I lived with my mom until I was 16 and in high school. By my sophomore year in high school, I had begun to hang around with friends that got me into a lot of trouble with a number of things including smoking pot and drinking. I was rapidly heading down a negative path. but was fortunate enough to notice it before I had done any serious damage. I moved in with my dad and changed high schools and friends. So that was an example of an autobiography where you're going to state your name, again your birthday, the place where do you live, then your parents' name, and some important details about your life. Now, let's talk about biography. Biography is a subgenre of an autobiography. It is really found within this idea. No? We have to choose facts that are both relevant and interesting to your audience. In order to do this, you should consider why the biography is needed and who will be reading it, and then focus on the areas of the person's life that the audience will likely want to know about. And what is a biography? A biography is an informational text. It is about a real person. It is always written in third person, and the author is someone other than the person featured in the text. So, a biography, you're going to, of course, write a non-fictional works, creative work, where you write about another person's life, and that person must be someone who is famous, someone who gives contribution to our country, or example to the society, a big contribution with a big impact to the society. To whom is a biography written about? Yan. It is written about a famous or notable person who accomplished something important or interesting. Of course, you can write about biography example of Albert Einstein, or in local life of Dolphy, or about a president, the life of late or former president Ninoy, former president Noynoy Aquino, yan. So, you can write about them. And the biography, actually, you can write peoples who are already deceased. How is a biography organized? Yan. Paano nga ba tayo gumagawa ng maayos na biography? Sumusulat. Una, of course, in chronological order. You have to write again the birthday, the place of birth, the family, the school. Then you have to write things that made those people special. And you have to do a timeline of importance events, of the life of the person you're going to write a biography about. Okay? So why do we read biographies? Of course, we are reading biography to see how these people have impact in the world, and to see the character traits in real people. So in biography, we are dealing about the uh, real characters of a real people or real person. Okay? And here's an example of a biography about Mark Levy's biography. Mark Levy is the founder of a Levy Innovation LLC, a positioning and branding firm that helps consultants and other thought leaders increase their fees by up to 2,000%. His clients include a former department head in the White House, a speaker to the United Nations, CEOs of major organizations, a former head of the strategy unit of the Harvard Business School, performers on network TV and from the New York and Las Vegas stages, New York Times and Wall Street Journal best-selling authors, TED and TEDx speakers. Before devoting his work full-time to Levy Innovation, Mark served as Chief Marketing Officer in an incorporation with the 5,000 experiential branding organization whose clients include Bank of America, Gap, Samsung, Time Warner, TiVo, and Harvard and Stanford universities. Mark has written for the New York Times and has written or co-created 5 books. His last book, Accidental Genius, Using Writing to Generate Your Best Ideas, Insight, and Content, has been published in 10 languages. Mark has also taught research writing at Rutgers University. In addition to being a positioning consultant, Mark creates magic tricks and shows. His work has been performed in Carnegie Hall and Las Vegas and on all the major TV networks. He also created the off-Broadway show Chamber Magic, which is played for 16 years and is the longest-running one-person show in New York City. So that is an example of biography. Now, let us see the difference between a biography and an autobiography. First, ang biography daw, it is an oral tradition where the writing is based on impressions of eyewitness and supplemented by the documents, especially letters. So dati before, no, usong-uso pa talaga yung mga letters, and the letters can be a basis for a biography of a person, while on the autobiography, dahil ikaw mismo yung author ng sinusulat na autobiography, the primary material is based on your memory as the author, and the documents now are just secondary, no? Pangalawa lamang siya. Ang mahalaga yung what's in the imparted on your memory as a author of the autobiography. Again, let me state that an autobiography is the submerge of a biography. The biographer may reveal things that the subject wished to suppress, which could be the intention of the book itself. The book may also mention the traits of some characters which were hidden from the subject. The autobiographer has the freedom to hide anything that he or she does not want to disclose to the readers, including anything that the autobiographer may deem disgraceful or may be in conflict with the chosen theme or literary plan. So, mapapansin natin sa biography, pinapakita natin lahat dito na gusto nating i-mention dahil gusto mong ipakita talaga yung real person nung yung totoong characteristic ng tao na gusto na isinulat mo sa biography. While sa autobiography, dahil ikaw ang writer, ikaw ang author, there were times na syempre may mga sekreto ka na you don't want to expose to your readers. So there were times na sa autobiography, itinatago mo, nililihim mo yung ibang parte ng iyong buhay. Biography. Unless solicited or commissioned, the subject of biographies are often dead. Ayun na. Karaniwan, no, patay na yung nasa biography natin na pinag-uusapang tao. And the death scene may be the most important aspect of the book. At times, the posthumous reputation of the subject is told. For example, yung ginawa yung buhay ng dating si Ninoy Aquino, di ba? Pwedeng bigyan din doon yung pagkamatay niya, no? Nandun siya sa airport, may bumaril sa kanya. And then that scene yung nagpapakita ng kanyang kabayanihan. Then, about the autobiography, ayan. The autobiography, the narrative is limited to the life of the autobiographer. It may be able to write about an old age, or if the autobiographer is still capable of remembering and writing, of course, death is omitted. Ayan. Hindi natin babanggitin dito yung death sa autobiography. While in a biography, nababanggit na yung death. Okay? Sa biography, the reader is compared to a spectator that examining a portrait or viewing a performer on stage, while sa autobiography, the sympathetic reader is someone to empathize and may remember moments more vividly than facts. Sa biography, binibigyan din natin yung mga facts kung saan para tayong nanonood ng isang stage play, no? Na mayroong performer on a stage. While sa autobiography, dito makikita natin na binibigyan din naman dito yung moments to remember. Na yun yung gustong bigyang emphasis ng writer. At ang nangyayari, yung reader nagiging sympathetic sila doon sa moments na the author wanted to be remembered. Okay? So that are the differences of a biography and an autobiography. Now, may bonus tayo. Food writing. What is a food writing? Are you a foodie? Are you a gourmet? Are you an epicure? The word foodie is a buzzword in journalism, creative writing, and social media. Food writing, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, a foodie is a person with a particular interest in food. It is synonymous with gourmet, which allows you to call an expert or a connoisseur of good food, a person with discerning palate, and also epicure, which is how you call a person who takes particular pleasure in fine food and drink. Ayan. So sa food writing, especially a person, ang tawag natin doon sa tao na mahilig at may interest sa fine food and drink is a foodie. No? Tinatawag din siya na gourmet. And also, tinatawag din epicure. Okay? So, in food writing, being a foodie, a gourmet, or an epicure, it would be beneficial if you are going to take part in the field of food writing. So, you may be one of those people na iniisip na ang culinaries ay para lang sa chefs, but not. It can be something to write about, no? In food writing. You may be surprised that most of the food critics they do not wear toques and white double-breasted jackets. Sa food writing, so even if you are not involved in a cookery, you can be a cookery writer. Tinatawag din natin sila na gastronome or someone who is well-versed in gastronomy. Gastronomy is the practice or art of choosing, cooking, and eating good food. You may go as far as being a gastronomist or someone who is an expert in interpreting and uniting the theory and practice in the field of gastronomy. Example, kung nanonood kayo ng Pinasarap, di ba? Si Cara David, ayan. So, itinatampok niya dito yung mga mahahalagang pagkain, masasarap na pagkain na mayroon sa Pilipinas. So, that can be a part of a food writing. Gastronomy sounds like science, and it is the science and history itself, where food writing contributes to gastronomic literature and journalism. Ayan. So what are the things we can mention in the food writing? It can be mentioned or explained in fictional narratives such as poems, short stories, novels, and plays. Nababanggit din yan. It can be mentioned or explained in a non-fictional literary narrative such as letters, memoir, biographies, travelogues, etc. So nababanggit natin yung food writing sa mga nabanggit na to na part of creative non-fiction. Yan, ito, especially in a recipe books or cookbooks, nandun ang food writing. It can be featured in column articles as food criticism, a review, food review, an infographic, and how-to, and etc. Also, food writing can be part of humanities journals, a coffee table cook, a food blogs, almanacs, Facebook statuses and notes, and Twitter posts, etc. Yan, andun yung food writing. Iba ginagamit din ng food writing nga sa mga Facebook nila, sa Twitter post, sometimes in sa IG, Instagrammable, yung mga ganyang part. Yan, this is an example of food writing. My favorite meal by Jonathan Jones. My favorite meal is breakfast. Monday to Friday, I go to school early, so I have a quick breakfast. I usually have cereals with milk or sometimes I have toast and jam. But the weekend is different. On Saturdays and Sundays, my dad cooks an English breakfast for everyone in our family. A typical English breakfast is egg, bacon, sausages, tomatoes, mushrooms, and baked beans, where beans is in tomato sauce. Then, we have toast and jam. I drink orange juice and my mom and dad drink tea or coffee. I love breakfast at the weekend because I have breakfast with my whole family. Yan. So that is an example of food writing. Do you have any question, guys? I hope you have learned a lot in our lesson. So please don't forget to like our video, click and subscribe. Thank you so much. God bless you all.